Alright, what's going on, guys, from the project, aka David Rivera, back at it again, this time for my WWE Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view review, thoughts and opinions and results, if you will, on that. And of course, Great Balls of Fire is in the record books, it's done. Well, we'll have to wait and see if it's going to be a yearly pay-per-view now. So with this review, it's going to be pretty brief. Not really so much in order, but just going to talk about the matches and everything and what happened. And we started things off with the kickoff, basically just getting this out of the way with Neville and Akira Tozawa. And with this one, I feel like if anyone else could have stopped Neville and be on his level, well, pun intended, if you will. Well, with this one, I thought it was actually a good Cruiserweight Championship match. It actually could have been on the main card. I feel like there was enough time for it if they could have wanted it on the main card, but it was on the kickoff. It was for the Cruiserweight Championship. And Neville actually retained. I thought Akira Tozawa could have had a chance in becoming the new Cruiserweight Champion. I thought it would have been fine to see him in WWE favor as the Cruiserweight Champion, but nonetheless, Neville was able to retain, and you might see a theme that's been going on, I noticed too anyway, and it's very rare that it does happen that heels, basically all the heels for the most part, winning, especially at Great Balls of Fire. So we don't get to see that too often, but it is a rarity at this point, so there it is when it comes to that. Getting on to with the rest of the show, just to start things off too with this one, and it was actually the opener between Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins. And this one wasn't too bad. It was a good match between the two. I feel like maybe Seth Rollins kind of had a chance, but I was going more for Bray, and Bray actually got his win, so that's really cool. And we don't get to see Bray Wyatt win that often, but when it is happening, it's actually pretty cool to see. So we'll see where Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins go for both of them going into SummerSlam and for the rest of the year for that matter. So there you have it with that. And probably one of my favorite matches where we have the next match is the Iron Man Tag Team Championship match. Sheamus and Cesaro, the Tag Team Champions, taking on the Hardy Boys. And this one was basically, for the most part, all Cesaro and Sheamus. And in the end, the Hardy Boys were trying to, get their win as much as they could, trying to get the most falls. But Cesaro and Sheamus really got more of the falls than anything else, and actually won by disqualification at one point. So that does count, whether it be count out or disqualification. It does actually give a team, or depending on what type of Iron Man match it is, you'll get a point and stuff like that. So, we did get to see that. Actually, Matt Hardy got a really bad cut. He was basically wearing the crimson mask and everything. So we did see blood, not once, but a couple of times throughout the pay-per-view. So again, it's kind of rare that we see blood nowadays. So that was interesting to see how physical the matchup was, and it was actually really great. I really enjoyed it. Surprising that Cesaro and Sheamus actually somehow was able to keep up with the time and actually defeat the Hardy Boys and retain the Raw Tag Team Championships. I was hoping for the Hardy Boys. I really wanted to see them as Raw Tag Team Champions again, but that probably won't be happening anytime soon. And I know they'll be splitting up, and I've been hearing rumors about that too, and then going their separate ways after a while. When exactly, I'm not really too sure. And then, I know the whole thing with the whole broken thing, that's still up in the air with the whole, lawsuit with TNA or GFW now and stuff like that. So who knows when they'll be able to be broken again. So even though there's little signs of it still by Matt Hardy and everything, which is fine. So at least there's that a little bit too. Also, where we had the Raw Women's Championship on the line, Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. This is where it gets crazy between the two. I never thought Alexa Bliss could be so damn flexible, especially kind of like teasing that she had her arm broken and everything. That surprised the hell out of me. And even Sasha Banks too, proving that she can be flexible on her own. I think Alexa Bliss did like some sort of like backbreaker or something like that, bending her in an awkward way. So that match, they were definitely bending each other like pretzels and stuff like that. It was crazy. But in the end, yes, another heel in Alexa Bliss. And Alexa Bliss retaining the Raw Women's Championship. So, again, you see the theme of the heels basically getting the wins there on the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. So, there is that. I was expecting kind of like the Finn Balor match, but we didn't really get to see that at all, really. So, I was kind of a little bit surprised. I was kind of expecting Finn Balor and Elias Sampson, but that didn't really happen at all. Trying to get into the other matches that we did see. Of course, one of the main matches too, Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. This one was definitely a well worth it match, and these two really fought it out. And with that being said, it ended up going pretty much where it was actually pretty intense. The Minitron, where both men actually went through the Minitron, the right side of the Minitron, and that basically broke a little bit there. So that was like literally like smashed into pieces. So that was a cool spot what they did there. So they pretty much had their own things, and some things that we did see, like Braun Strowman, throwing around Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns trying to do the same thing to Braun Strowman, but to no avail. He tried to, work on his injured arm and everything, using the hot seat, aka the chair there, and everything like that to really stop Braun Strowman. And in the end, I thought this was pretty funny, and Roman had one job, is to try and spear Braun Strowman. I guess he was trying to spear Braun Strowman into the ambulance, but Roman Reigns ended up spearing himself into the ambulance, and then the match basically ended there, and Braun Strowman closing the ambulance door. So at one point too, we saw like the stretcher and stuff, the boards and stuff from the ambulance, hospital related things, ambulance related things, and everything. So it's kind of like almost a stretcher match at one point, even though it was an ambulance match. And things didn't end there. Roman Reigns actually driving the ambulance and smashing it into the back of a truck and everything. So that was pretty crazy, and everybody trying to help out Roman. Not Roman, but Braun Strowman at that point, because after that, Roman Reigns was never to be seen, basically, right after that. So Braun Strowman didn't want any help, and basically somehow walks away. So curious to see where that's going to go between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns and everything. So I thought it was really well done, and a really exciting match too, to say the least. So I did enjoy that. And what I found weird is that they had Heath Slater and Kurt Hawkins. I don't know why they had a match that was really not meant to be needed. It felt bad, and it was kind of sad, and actually really weird. They didn't even show really who won. I mean, we heard the announcement on that. I believe Heath Slater won that match somehow, but they showed a little bit. They didn't really commentate on it. They were more showing what happened between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, after the fact that Braun Strowman won and the whole ambulance thing. So, that whole match between Heath Slater and Kurt Hawkins was just really awkward on that part. So, I'm just really trying to talk about more of the main things that really did happen. But, basically, also too, when we had the Intercontinental Championship match, Dean Ambrose and The Miz, and The Miz Taraj was there, of course, Maurice and stuff like that. And Dean Ambrose is focusing more on The Miz Taraj, which is kind of weird on that part. I figure here more focus on The Miz, since, The Miz has been, getting, a little crazy, a little local on that, on Dean Ambrose, just messing with him, getting into his head and stuff like that. But The Miz was able to retain and keep the Intercontinental Championship on that part, so it is what it is on that. Again, another heel winning. And then the big match, the main match, of course, the whole point of Great Balls of Fire, and one of the main reasons where we had Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe. And this one was a short match. I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it's to be expected now of Brock Lesnar matches. I mean, I can understand Brock Lesnar and Goldberg being short, but this one was sure. We saw a couple of things from Samoa Joe, like the rear naked choke and everything. We saw Suplex City from Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe before the match even got started, focusing on Brock Lesnar, and then the match, eventually went underway and stuff, and Brock Lesnar was able to win with the F5, so, it was short. I mean, it was fine for what it was. At least they got some stuff in, but I'm just kind of in the fence in between on how things went with the main event and stuff like that, so, Brock Lesnar ended up winning and retaining the Universal Championship. So again, all champions were able to retain at Great Balls of Fire. So that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on Great Balls of Fire? And even though it is a ridiculous name and it is from a song, I thought it was a thumbs up, well worth the pay-per-view. I thought it was great, to be honest, and there wasn't really anything that I really didn't like. I just thought it was weird that What the Heel basically all the heels winning there, so it is rare that we do get to see that, like I said, but with that being said, the rest of the pay-per-view was fine, I thought, in my personal opinion, so I kind of wouldn't mind it being a yearly pay-per-view now, just to see where things are going to go with that. Probably is a one-time thing, and we'll probably see other new pay-per-view crazy names pretty soon, so it is to be expected. So I'll probably touch a little bit more on it pretty soon on more Great Balls of Fire talk, but this is my own solo review on Great Balls of Fire. Again, what are your thoughts and opinions? How you felt about Great Balls of Fire overall as a whole? Do you want to see it as a yearly pay-per-view? What you liked, what you didn't like, what you thought should have been done a lot more better? Leave it all in the comments and we'll talk about it. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Whatever the hell that next video may be. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Peace. See you then.